Hey viewers. So let's say you're on the market for a home and you have an idea of the neighborhood you want to live in based off of your personal preferences or word of mouth, but you find yourself open to exploring other options. Or let's say you have some idea of why you like these neighborhoods and not those neighborhoods, but you're having a hard time narrowing down your search. Well, in this video, I will talk through 3 expert ways to research a home before purchasing. As a Maryland and Ghana Realtor, I witnessed so many methods and tools that people use to narrow down or decide on where they want to purchase a home, some of which I would say are pretty clever. Others don't necessarily take that much thought, but still works. Either which way, regardless of the side of the aisle you fall on, I'm here to provide you with expert advice on how you can decide which neighborhoods are your top neighborhoods to purchase a home in any country. Now, before I go too deep into things, I cannot understate enough that all the items I will go through is fully dependent on your personal home buying goals. You want to have a clear and good understanding of why you're purchasing a property, what you're looking to get from this purchase, and what factors are most important about buying this home. Without a clear goal or understanding in mind, you may struggle on deciding which path to take, as there are many paths you can take in real estate that can either lead to success or lead to failure. I believe the knowing or the lack of knowing of your clear direction is what actually dictates what sends you on the path of success or the path of failure. Okay, first things first. I recommend that you research the community dynamics. Now, community dynamics are the elements of a community that draws a buyer towards that neighborhood or away. It's somewhat of those obvious things that people think to research when looking up where to buy a home. So we're talking about the schools, the safety, the neighborhood demographics, like the age or income of the community, the curb appeal, so how the landscaping looks and how well kept the neighborhood is. And the list goes on, such as the transportation options or the access to activities such as stadiums, bars, restaurants, theaters, all the likes. Community dynamics also includes elements that are not so obvious, such as the property condition or the local laws. So we're talking about having historic versus newer built homes, or local laws that are more flexible and amenable to tenants, whereas there's laws that are not as flexible to certain types of tenants. So when looking at these options, you don't want to just look at them just to look. You want to look at them from the lens of having your end goal in mind. So let's say your goal is to have a vacation home. Then you want to choose communities that have plenty of transportation options, that have easy access to local attractions, and that have local laws that allow you to rent more easily while you're away from that home. Whereas, let's say you have a goal of having a home to raise your family in. In that case, you want to choose a community that has your choice schools, that is easily accessible for your working conditions, whether you work at home or you have to commute to work, and that is a type of home that you can see your family growing into over time. Next up, you want to research the property value and how the market has been in that community over time. So when I talk about property value, I'm not just talking about the price tag. I'm also talking about the value that you, with your eyes as the buyer, the value that that home brings to you based on your goals. Property value in this sense is looking at the affordability of the home, of course. So that looks like the sales price, the HOA, any fees, the maintenance of the home. You want to make sure when it comes to affordability, you have a monthly dollar amount that essentially doesn't give you chest pains at night. Like, we are trying to sleep through the night in peace and not worry about how to pay the bills. Not only thinking about affordability, also thinking about the other nuance to a value of the home, which is your perception. So for you as a buyer, asking yourself, are you making more of an emotional decision or a logical decision? Or it could be a mix of both. An emotional decision would look like more of choosing your forever home, a home that you love every time you walk in, and it's just something about it that warms your heart, versus a home that you're just looking at the numbers and it's a money making investment strategy and the dollars just need to make sense. That's more of a logical decision. Your choice could be both or it could be neither. Either way, having a decision and making a decision on this will help you to either broaden or narrow down your search results. Lastly, when you think about property value, think about the appreciation of a home. Appreciation is one of the main reasons why most buyers choose to even purchase a home. They want to see the value of that purchase grow over time. So then it becomes more of a question of what kind of appreciation are you hoping to get? Short term or long term? Short term or quick appreciation might look like a fix and flip. It might look like buying in an up and coming neighborhood right before it fully develops into a community and selling right after that community is established. That's something that is quick relatively to other terms of holding a home. Or you can have more of a long-term appreciation. So having a rental, either long-term tenants, folks that stay for a year or two or longer, or your Airbnb, your Verbals, the short-term rentals. With property values, you want to also consider the market stability, because the market heavily dictates what your property is worth or what it's valued at. And market stability in this sense is just referencing how homes have sold in that neighborhood or maybe even rented in that neighborhood historically, and where it's projected to go. With having your goals in mind, you want to look into the history of a neighborhood. How have properties performed over time in that area, and or rentals have performed and where they're projected to go. Generally, it's better to choose a neighborhood that has had stable property values over a long period of time, that has had long-term residents that has lived in that area, and a growing neighborhood where there are more homes being built nearby or attractions, or has some type of draw that draws people to that neighborhood. All right, so the last expert advice that I will give to you today regarding how best to research a neighborhood that you're looking to purchase in is trust your gut. Trust your own intuition. Trust what the insides are trying to tell you, even though you may not want to listen. I think it all is a factor in decision making, for the good, sometimes for the bad. But you still want to check in regardless. You want to scope the neighborhood yourself. See how you feel either living there, or if you're just looking to invest, it might not be as pertinent to you, the neighborhood feel for you personally. However, you still want to see how a neighborhood is, because you have to be conscious of what your potential tenants will be looking for in wanting to rent your home. So scope out the neighborhood yourself if you can. I would recommend talking to the neighbors. There's a nosy neighbor in every neighborhood. So don't be shy. If you see them walking around, just say hi, speak to them, and see what information they're willing to share. You also have the options to talk to friends or family that might be familiar with the area if you have connections in that way. And most of us, admittedly, our go-to resource is online. So you're always free to do online research. You can use platforms like Zillow and Redfin to research an area, city, and find some historical information. So online is a strong resource. I believe your best resource is going to be a realtor, a knowledgeable realtor that is familiar with the neighborhood you're looking to buy or the neighborhoods. So, to close, I would say a good starting point is to redefine what you consider the perfect neighborhood by leaning towards the neighborhoods that most closely align with your personal goals, your needs, and your wants. There are more to neighborhoods than its name and what it has historically been known to be. Yes, a neighborhood's reputation can be long standing, but there's also evolution and things change over time. So you want to keep your eyes and ear out to the changing movements of the market and yet still be grounded in what history and data and facts are telling you about that neighborhood as well. As I mentioned earlier, clarity and understanding is one of the key things that will lead you to the path of success or failure. Lack of clarity on your goals, where you're going, what you're doing, will allow that confusion to creep in and you don't know where you would fall. But with clarity, foresight, insight, and all of the sites, you can definitely get on the path that leads you to be happy with your purchase. I definitely encourage you to rely on what you know, what you've heard, what you've seen, but also be open to what you don't know, what you've been closed off to before in the past. And especially lean on expert advice. A lot of this information is publicly available, but a lot of it is not as well. It does come from a level of expertise and professionalism. So keep that in mind. And know that your girl is always available to you if you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in Maryland or Ghana. You know where to find me. And before you go, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, especially if you found value in this video. Hitting like and subscribe allows this video to be promoted to others and allows them to also get these gems, which are trying to share the joy, y'all. We're trying to share. So share the love. All right, I'll see you soon.